Um, I think it could just mean that they want to perhaps play like a melee hero in the mid lane. You know, Quap of course is great against anyone that she's easy to get some free right clicks
10
onto, some
seconds
shadow
remaining.
strikes. So I feel like if you're going to take that away from it, that can enable you to go
5
into a
seconds
bit of a
remaining.
greedier style of lineup here for Polaris. Like we've seen Natsumi shine on certain hero picks that they're able to take it out to the super late stages. Obviously, the Terrorblade not so likely to happen. I mean, it's not a bad Morphling game though already. You know, you've got the Gyrocopter to morph into. Hell, even the Mirana is great just for that extra little attack speed bonus that you get, the extra mobility with the leap.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if Neon are going to go into the Sand King because they banned the Abaddon, which we saw was prioritizing the second
Radiant
game
team pick.
for
Agro
Dreammaker.
Compa.
But they want to pick up a flex hero early here, Mikoto, Xiaoyu, whatever they want to put the Conquer on, but it does at least give them a nice little team fight hero to also alleviate some of the burst potential and the damage that can come out.
10
Also,
seconds
does
remaining.
very easily set up for some Mirana rotations
5
towards the
seconds
mid lane if
remaining.
that's how they want to play it. You know, even just the side lane, right? X into arrow combination will net you a kill the vast majority of the time.
Now, I wonder if they picked their 5 here just to hide the Conquer and like the 2-3 flex that they have at the moment. Is there any 5 that's standing out maybe to help protect the Gyrocopter?
Maybe a Bloodseeker. You know, it's not bad. You could just get that blood right out. You get the homing missile onto someone. It's a lot of damage in the super early stages. Against the Tidehunter, it's not great. But I'm stunned that it's still come through to this stage. Like, I think it's actually the highest win rate hero over recent times, the Bloodseeker, and not even just in this matchup, just overall.
Yeah, the fact that it's still made it through all the way. We were expecting as soon as we saw the Pango. I mean, that was the first pick for Polaris. They're gonna opt into a Grimstroke, so
Okay,
uh, you,
it's all right. It's a semi counter.
but
Radiant
can you
team
play the
back.
Grim with the Gyro now? It doesn't seem like a great leaning combo. Like I feel like Grimstroke really enables you to get kills with a melee hero, and your Gyro is definitely not that.
Yeah, it
Like, what are they
seems a little
looking for?
odd to me, and it doesn't even feel like a Zhao hero either. You know,
10
he's much more
seconds
of
remaining.
the frontlining, protecting style. So
5
I'm kind
seconds
of
remaining.
puzzled about how they're going to make this work super later on.
Like, you
Dire
can't tell me
team
that they
Radiant
picked this
team
hero
back.
mainly for Soulbind when Bloodseeker was available.
Hmm.
I just like you.
They have
Dire team
nothing
back.
Yeah.
combines with it either, right? Like X Mark and homing missile. That's it.
Now you're up against the life stealer, so I guess
Radiant
Soulbind has
team
some
pick.
capability there. They did still ban out the Doom just to make
Yeah.
sure the synergy that they're looking for at the moment for Neon.
Always good in that it feels like it's going to be very much like a hard carry style of lineup here with this live stealer. Could they
10
Magnus
seconds
in
remaining.
the mid lane for Polaris? I wouldn't put it past them, and then they just go
5
all in
seconds
onto like some
remaining.
super beefy team fight. You're going to be able to trade reasonably against the Conquer. You give Lifestealer some kind of steroid for the mid lane.
Yeah, they definitely could. They've got the Ultra Last. If Conker's mid, then it's a good matchup 1-1, melee, and you've got the reposition. Still trying to see if Neon, they need an initiator, Sand King, of course, to combine up with the Mirana if they'd like to
Dire
go down
team
that
pick.
route. The matchup versus
Legion
Lifesteal is
Commander.
not as good, so they're going to go for the Legion. He instantly answered by the Death Prophet. So
Choose your
the
hero.
hero that we saw SMG attempt to run against Boom in the group stages, and it did work out for Moon, and now we'll see how Mac can also fare here with the Death Prophet.
Makoto's playing the Conquer into Mac. His life's not going to be super easy, you know. With the Conquer, of course, a strength hero, you're going to be able to, keep yourself fairly healthy on this Death Prophet just through the use of the Spirit Siphon, constantly spam out the lane. The silence isn't even that big of a factor, right? Because, unless you're able to get it perfectly off, most of the time someone's going to be able to get dispelled by Zhao Yu. So you've even got some of that defensive capability. I'm not crazy about Neon's draft still, though.
Yeah, no,
Like, I'm
same.
sure it feels like they must feel
Remaining.
like they've ticked all the boxes that they could possibly want, but I'm not seeing it.
5 seconds remaining.
Whatever they do, I don't like their safe lane combo.
So
I'm
it's a 5 Mirana. What does it do in this lane? That's what I want to know. Like maybe I mean, there's some decent kill setup for the side lanes, particularly on the silencer, right? Like X Mark into Inkswell into Torrent, and there's very little a silencer can do to stop that, which is fine. But I feel like you're going to lose mid lane, and you're
yeah.
going to lose the Neon safe lane.
That's it. You just hit the nail on the head right there. You're losing mid lane. Like if you're banking on setting up your side lanes for Conquer to rotate to, he's going to have an issue because Mac is just going to body him mid. Like a Death Prophet versus a tanky melee, it doesn't go favorable for you. Conquer's going to have to itemize for boots and Windlace, which sure might allow him to make these early rotations, but if they're playing off the back of that, then you've already given over a free lane to the Death Prophet, and you can't anyway make those rotations because you're against this hero. You have to be literally perfect. If you leave that lane, DP will charge up Xism, Boom is going to rotate, CML is going to rotate, they take that tower. So there is a fine line on how Conquer can play this game. It's not a good matchup at all, and I'm just... They have a relatively free Pango game. Like it's just the Grimstroke to counter, which is crazy to me. I mean, we're gonna see what Boomy can do on the Pangolier. I'm more not of a fan of Neon's draft than I'm a fan of Polaris's.
Agreed. You also need to consider that this is a 4 Pango, right? So he's going to be able to get a bit more farm. He's going to get an early Blink Dagger, so more likely to be able to get in onto the backlines and disrupt the Grimstroke before he's able to get the Inkswell off. And hell, even if he just Inkswells the Pangolier, as long as you're not linked up to somebody, you don't really care. You're still going to get the full impact out of it.
Step lively now. Your admiral
What do you believe they were looking for with this Legion last pick? Is it just a hero that can lane well versus the Life Stealer, or is there something else that we can take out of this last pick for Xiao Yu?
30 seconds to battle.
I guess so. I mean, eventually you might be able to build into the BKB. You're always going to be able to save against the global silence so that you can... But, like, who do you even use stuff onto, right? Like, the Gyrocopter, you're going to be able to use his flat cannon, I suppose. But eventually you're going to build into a Satanic or a BKB for the Gyro, so he's got that level of save. Do you really want to be saving a Grimstroke under the global silence? Probably not. So I guess, yeah, it is just the laning stage match. I mean, they banned out the Slardar, realizing that, look, Natsumi needs to have a good game, but I don't know if Legion was the response to it. Like, I know you're not a fan of Legion Commander, just in general now.
Yeah, no. This here is atrocious. I mean, you have to actually have, like, if you do not have 40, 50 dual damage, like, before 20 minutes into the game, even 15 minutes, then you don't scale, man. And he has to itemize for a Lotus Orb, I believe, really early, because you don't want to yours on Legion. You don't want a BKB just to get rid of the global silence, so he needs a Lotus, and it just means now you're becoming a hero who will not scale with that item of choice. It's going to be very utility based, and it takes a lot to pick up as well. I mean, second item, you want a Lotus Orb. That's rough. But the Legion matchup with the Grimstroke, I was saying that I wanted the Grim to be with the melee hero because he does enable the kill potential. So at least you have the possibility here that you could maybe just ramp up your early game with the lanes going exceptionally well.
Right, but I feel like a lot of that is on CML, right? Like, as long as he's not in a really bad position, I still don't think you can get too many kills in this lane. Like, that's me. He's very sustainable. He does a lot of these little creep aggro tricks, so he doesn't mind them being brought underneath the tower. As long as he gets his early last hits, that's all he really cares about right now.
Yeah, we'll get to the stage where Lifestealer can trade very easily. He just needs some levels. Level 1, level 2 is, against melee matchups, he doesn't thrive like what he used to, but once he can pick up those levels, get some of the, the stat items or an early phase, then he will be fine. So, like you said, it's really the question of how CML is going to be positioning. But at the moment, mid lane does look like Makoto. This is someone who I've been thoroughly impressed whenever we've been watching Neon. So yeah, at the moment he's having a pretty good start to the lane versus Mac.
He is. I feel like it's going to become a lot more difficult though, right? Like that Crypt Swarm, excuse me, at level 2 is just going to be starting to do the double damage. He should be looking to pick this up once that Creep Wave runs into him, and there's very little risk of him dying super early on. It's only once the Mirana looks to rotate that there could potentially be that threat. Might even look to happen now, as they've actually been able to create a double wave now coming into them, and that's a deep dive, actually. They're able to get the kill.
Okay. I was not seeing what was going on there. Hustler picking up first blood. Very nicely done. Sacrifices his life afterwards, so gets all the solo experience for the Grimshaw. I was really taking a look at the bottom lane for the Tide Hunter. Boomy was just trying to drag one creep wave into the second and get a double cut off there to enable Nico, who at the moment... He's got 11 last hits compared to the 17 on Unknown. A 0-1-2 build, but we saw this earlier and Tide had a very good lane. And I feel like the Mirana...
He's got a huge wave coming into him, though, right? So
what you'll find laying around.
Should be fine.
I wonder, we saw the Tide Hunter that game go for the early hood. Looks like Nico, he does at least have the ring of health queued up at the moment. See how survivable it can be, and there were big issues with at least the Gyrocop that not having any magical damage to go through the Tide in the lane, so yeah, this will get pretty free for him.
I do like CML as well, just realizing, you know, the lane that he's gone into. No point in press the attack just yet, as actually they're trying to make another kill attempt here. Actually changing it up and changing onto CML instead of Natsumi. He didn't actually have a point in the rage just yet.
The tower attributes. Is he gonna go Shirk of Fate? Does he predict? Left, right, back and forth, Hustler gets. Oh no. Once again.
Well, they got 2 for the price of 1 at least. It was a little not quite as clean as I'm sure they were hoping for. But also gets them that stolen intelligence. Wait, actually didn't get the stolen int? Wow, I thought he was close enough.
Is under attack.
And Xiaoyu just cleaning up all the farm and all the experience at the leftovers as well. So they're trying to set up on Makoto. Maybe this is just CML in fact trying to refill the bottle for Mac.
Here, Natsumi, this time around, he's going to hold the point. He'll have the rage available to be able to turn around underneath the tower. Won't be going down again. Been looking actually quite healthy on this top side. They've run out of regen for Neon side, so might even look to realize that and get aggressive again. With CML just getting a stack off. I did like the fact that he went Glaives of Wisdom level 1. You know, you're against a Legion commander, right? Like,
CML.
so rare that you're going to be able to...
Can they penalize his position? He tried to cut off the stack. Xiaoyu's going to be cautious of himself as well. And yep, the last word will tick him. Natsumi won't get a secondary kill. We'll just force back Hustler. See, he's only got... He does have 2 points, in fact, in the Ghoul Frenzy. So it's a lot of damage on Hustler. Doesn't have a lot of resources as well for the Grimstroke.
I think Natsumi's still fine with this though, right? Like, you're fine with feeding kills over to the Legion Commander super early on because, you know, it's a winning lane. As long as it's not dual kills, it doesn't really matter for the long stage, as long as the lifesteal is getting his farm.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think the trigger point's going to come through now with Mac having the Xism. Now they are... Well, yeah, they're going to give up this catapult wave, so they will not combine it, but we take a look at the vision right now that Dire have. One scouting out Hustler, stacking by the Ancients, one further to enable the Death Prophet around the mid lane.
Got a sentry coming out to him on his courier, not just yet. So, you know, the fact that this ancient camp has been warded up is not going to be spotted out just yet. I might have actually seen him place down that observer ward of his own, so it could be a nice little free D ward coming out there for Polaris. And I think that's probably going to be the main trigger point, right? Like with Kodo, it'll take him 2, maybe 3 uses of the Tidebringer to take out that hard camp stack. Maybe try and invade to prevent that from happening on Polaris.
It is nice that the Conquer now has kill threat over the DP with this combo.
I know he's getting dived a little bit here.
Keeping tabs on this. Is Natsumi going to continue? See, now it's getting to the stage where CML and Natsumi can just zone away Xiaoyu, but this is the recognition of then, well, if the support's not in this lane, then Hustler has to be somewhere else, and the moment he's trying to babysit Makoto at the moment. They need the protection for Mac. X straight into the arrow, but instantly As soon as they see Nico's TP, they just have to reset on Neon. Back to bot.
Pigging out as well on CML, just saying, look, they've got this gigantic stack. I've just refreshed my observer ward that I had on the high ground. Obviously didn't spot the fact that they placed the observer ward on the low ground, but I think with the exorcism, perhaps after the TP back to the lane, that's where Polaris are going to look to try and converge onto. It'll definitely make it easier if they can get the kill onto Xiao Yu, but probably not going to be the case.
They're looking to try and TP up top to kill off Natsumi, who... he's full health right now. I mean, they're really trying to ramp up this Legion Commander's scaling potential with the early duel victories, but... I don't know.
He's under the tower.
Yeah.
Like, you can arrow all you want, but, well, they're going to try.
I mean, the arrow duration isn't enough. At least he can't lifesteal back afterwards. Ooh, so much health from the stick, but he turned back around. He wasn't going to continue hitting Xiao Yu, and that cost him his life. He gets no assistance from any TPs as well.
And he didn't have the Infest leveled up either. You know, if he did, he would have just been able to get into a creep and dodge that big gank coming through. In the meantime, Nico, he is going to sit back and farm a little bit more, going this, again, tankier build to try and... They've got a ton of magic damage right now on Neon's side, though, so I'm not sure how much effectiveness this sort of Defiance is going to have.
Seems like Polaris, though, they can look to trade the T1 towers Mac joining down bottom. Of course, they got the Exorcism at the ready. They might not be forced to use it, though, with the DD, so... Unknown shoved out again. We're seeing a gyrocopter. It's, you know, we saw early on it was the Dragonlance into the Aghanims, but Unknown feeling like he just wants the little extra buffer with the Crystallis.
I don't hate it, but it's just the question of, like, it doesn't feel like you transition. It's not quite as efficient in my eyes. You know, you do have a lot of damage for the amount of gold that you spend, but when I talk about efficiency, I'm talking like, all right, well, what's it actually going to progress to? You know, a gyrocopter, not a natural silver edge builder or anything like that.
Where's my pension?
Would you like to see Polaris try and make a move around mid with their ultimates? You know, we got Ravage, we've got Exism. Not yet with the Global Silence, but maybe with the Tome. They can look to play around with that. Boomy, though, will be the target top. Xiao Yu trying to find his first dual victory of the game, and Boomy will be the person they can clean up on, but they are going to smoke and look to cut off the retreat from Radiant back towards that triangle. No one's made the journey just yet.
Raiders are actually going to fly over. I wonder if they'll try and get greedy and look to get a few of these pickups here onto the couriers. They're just flying right over them.
Oh, there they are. Smoke pops. Oh, no.
Right under the observer ward.
You need to get something out of this. So try and take the Ancients, but right now they're converging on the area. X back once again to the arrow. Nico just playing the bodyguard role, sitting directly in front of the Death Prophet. Can they burst her down before the Exorcism Spirits come back to heal up? And yes, sir, they can. Now the Tide Hunter, the next on the chopping. There's Nico. He'll try and hold his life, but it just gives Xiao Yu ample time for the Jewel to be able to respawn back up, and now all of a sudden he's got 20 damage in the arsenal.
Even though it's your most hated hero of all time, the Legion Commander having a pretty good game this time around. You know, still sitting at the bottom of the core net worth, but it's all dependent on how the rest of your team plays around you, and honestly a little bit on the enemy team's lack of activity. You know, the first exorcism of the game, not anywhere near as impactful as I'm sure Polaris would have wanted it to be. No towers taken, weren't even able to secure much of the ancient stack, and, you know, dying after about 5 seconds of its use.
Now it really feels like Polaris as well have to... You can't make any plays on the map with the Exorcism on cooldown, Ravage on cooldown as well. So this is free time for Neon to get whatever little farm they're looking for. Meanwhile, how is Unknown going? So yeah, Crystallis completed. He again is going for another, at least for the skills, the attributes with the 014 build.
I'm totally cool with it. He's going to even stack up for himself here to make sure that he's maximizing his farm, going into the Aghanim Scepter next.
Might be in trouble. Hood popped straight back into the arrow of the boat combination. Natsumi too late to give him some protection in the Infest. So Radiant, they're utilizing all four heroes together to offer that dual victory on Xiaoyu. And I was speaking about this Legion, it needs to get dual victories early to be able to scale. Still Polaris looking to bring the fight at the moment. They've got this first juice of the Global Silence. They'll kill off Xiaoyu. They can even bounce back for Unknown as well, who was looking to get involved around the tier 1 tower fight.
Not the full impact out of it. I mean, it didn't opt to use the magic wand, obviously just resigning himself to the fact that he's going to die. With this Mirana 5, I kind of like that Zhao's going for the Sacred Arrow max out first, just for that bonus damage, realizing, look, I'm very rarely going to be able to get in on the front lines without being just a free sack of gold that the enemy's going to take, right? Like, you don't have farm, you're not tanky. So, you know, just comboing together constantly with the use of the X marks or the duel, always looking to guarantee the damage. And even just waiting towards the very end of the duel, making sure that the Legion Commander with the 3 points in the moment of courage is going to get the most out of those counterattacks as well. So some good solid team play and map movement coming out from Neon so far.
And also with how much Makoto's been able to get out of this game. 103, top of the net worth. And the Conquer didn't have as rough as a lane as I was expecting. And we've seen how he's been able to play around with the Mirana combination as well. So Makoto all in all very, very impressed with at least his performance so far. We'll see how that's going to continue. Shadowblade into the BKB is looking to be the item progression for the position 2 on Neon.
Clear sailing now.
Certainly don't hate it.
See how it comes into play.
Well, that's the use of the exorcism that they were probably wanting, just immediately able to get in onto the tower as quickly as possible. They weren't able to protect their Observer Ward either. So even with all of their ultimates available, minus the Moonlight Shadow, Neon's still feeling a little bit more anxious about it, right? You're running into the exorcism, they've got the Ravage back up and available, so just respecting the Polaris strengths that they have. Trying to get a bit of a backstab maybe happening here with Xiaoyu cutting the creep wave.
Even Unknown's joining. So tower soon to fall, but the exorcism now expended. Red X back once again. It's only the hood at the moment for the Tide, and they have to lay down the Global Silence just to protect the Tide and Death Prophet in the front line. So they'll taunt themselves away back to safety, but Makoto is still stalking, trying to catch out Tide, but yeah, it's got to be cautious on how deep they look to go because of the turn potential in the Ravage. So a great tier 1 tower claimed here from Polaris.
It was. I wonder what Neon, I was looking at Makoto's name, is going to do now, right? Because you did use the Ghost Ship and you did use the cooldown, but they are much lower cooldowns when you compare that to the Exorcism and the Global Silence. So, you've been able to open up a little bit of a window for yourself. It's even nighttime, so a lot of these rotations, you're going to be able to not have quite as much reaction time when you've got Xiaoyu's LC looking to come up on you. Maybe just trying to wait for the Blink Dagger, like his timing, to be available so that you can continue his scaling.
You see, like, his bottom net worth at the moment out of the cause. So yes, Xiaoyu's done very well to find dual damage, but this is another issue of mine. It's like, where do you get farm on the map? Like, you don't really...
Heroes, that's it,
yeah. You're completely off the back of getting an immense... Like, having a strong lane, that is the power of the Legion, and then getting a bunch of dual victories off the blink. You see there's a little bit of a downtime until that's completed, but now with it for Xiaoyu, we'll see if they can play around the Legion and try and further amplify his potential to scale into the late game.
It's going to need to be instantly though, right? Because you take so long, again, the Legion Commander cannot flash farm like, some other position 3s can, the Mars, hell, even like Underlord, Darkseer, heroes like that. So the fact that he spent so much time waiting around means that Exorcism's back available, and Mac, well, he probably won't be level 12 if he needs to TP down towards this bottom side to help, but I don't think you're getting really maximum impact out of this early timing. Even, the Blink Dagger now available for Nico. He's got the Ravage back up. Global Silence only 4 seconds away, so yeah, they've missed that window that I was talking about.
And now Polaris are going to have a big opportunity on how they can play around the map with their tier 1 tower still live mid. It just makes it so much more difficult for Neon to penetrate through and try and control up the enemy's territories. No, they're going to look to smoke from that area.
Radiant are
Zhao
scanning.
might pop this, so they do see Unknown, however, underneath the observer. Siniko's just going to jump in. They don't want to drop the Ravage instantly just in case the fight breaks out further. They recognize they've got plenty of damage to go through. The Gyrocopter Mac, he does drop the Exism just before the level 2 was
Dire's
picked
bottom
up.
tower is
And
under
they're still
attack.
looking to try and bring their numbers down, but
Still, though, that's a big kill. You know, it's worth dropping the Exorcism just to make sure, again, Ravage wasn't used. I suppose that means you're lacking a little bit of the damage, so you still probably want to sit back and farm.
hang on, are they going to dangle Mac?
Here.
The Spirit's about to come back in a couple seconds. He's going to get so much life back, it's not enough. They'll burst him through. Even the Rolling Thunder and Global Silence was used to try and protect Mac. The Death Prophet will give up another kill. Now, did he get the
Wasn't
dual
a dual
damage?
victory?
Yes, that's...
No.
Okay.
He was a little short. It doesn't matter too much when you're level 1. It's only 10 damage, but once it hits up to that level 12, you've got to make sure you're landing every single one of them.
Big kill to find, though. Still,
what you'll find laying
and
around.
Makoto is continuing to skyrocket his farm, but how much do you feel like the BKB is going to help this Conquer through the fights?
I think it's more about just regularly being able to take team fights. That's the big thing that Neon are banking on right now. You know, you just compare the downtime that you've got between engagements, right? It's basically only around the flak cannon, the duel, the ghost ship, and I mean, ghost ship's already got such a low cooldown already, just at the 70 seconds. Synergizes quite well with the BKB, even if you're looking to just constantly
Another
be
jump
using
in
it.
mid. Jewel is out. They're targeting CML. This time they'll only need 2 heroes to get the duel victory, but it looks like Polaris, again,
Are fortified.
looking to try and mount some form of defense to keep this tower alive, and they will do so by killing off Genuel.
Again, don't think you care too much on Neon's side. You got the duel victory. It was plus 20 this time around. You protect the tower, but it's just for a position 5. And all that time, again, Makoto's continuing to farm, getting close to that BKB timing. And I feel like, you know, you don't care if you're just using that 9, 8, 7 second BKB charge because you just want to be fighting constantly once you hit your timings. You know, that duel only has a 50-second cooldown. You want to be going every 50 seconds.
We do see the supports, though, their item progression, at least in regards to Genuel. Solar Crest completed, so going to be a great way to amplify your Gyrocopter's damage output. We also take a look at Hustler. He's going for an Aghanims this game. How you feel about this? Because it's not, you know, against a Terrorblade, a Deucer, a Luna, but do you like the opportunity for the Dark Portrait?
Yeah, the lifesteal is pretty fine. I mean, we also have to consider the fact that the Dark Portrait unit is spell immune, so you're going to need to actually right-click it, and that just takes away, like, it either forces you to pop the Exorcism, or it forces the Lifestealer to start chunking it down. Otherwise, it's just going to take care of the likes of, you know, your Silencer or, you know, those sorts of heroes on the backline, and it takes away a lot of Polaris's damage potential while also doing a lot of damage yourself.
In regards to Polaris' supports, we got Boomy, Blink, into the Aghanim Shard as his next item of choice. So we'll see the Pango have a lot more, you know, prowess in regards to how he can take these fights and being able to just control the key opponents. And for CML, he's looking for a little bit more of a defensive toolkit with this 4-staff.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Don't hate it. I mean, again, it's an int item, right? So it'll even scale well with a Silencer.
Yeah.
It's all about just being able to...
Oh.
Well, that's a wasted global, unfortunately. And Zhao Yu, again,
No, he doesn't have the damage. Okay.
Dire's courier
more duel victory, no global now for Polaris. Death Prophet dying again. Everything's just working out for Neon.
Yeah. There you go.
Even just with the use of the 4-staff, right? You can use it to snap the Soulbind if you use it right at the edge. So that's a nice little bonus to have as well.
Mid lane, Makoto trying to charge up on Boomy. He mistimed the combination. See if that'll be the downfall of Makoto, but at least he has Zhao Yu on the back line.
All right, duel's back available. They've got a smoke around this mid lane. Where they look to go, maybe just after they push out this wave. Are you just going to blink duel the tide?
Oh, Nico.
Step lively now.
Okay.
Your admiral is on board.
Do see
I mean, just go back and smoke and do it again.
you are shy BKB from unknown. Dire.
I don't think you care too much, honestly.
Then
Dire gonna smoke
I
up
don't think
themselves around a
don't know if
choke
you got
point
the
like
damage.
Roche. I don't know. That's scary. Exo Ravage. It's actually Polaris. Oh, Boomy smoke's
Will
gonna
they
pop.
see?
Ooh, that's so close. CML2. They're
Radiant Vision
right
is
next to
dark
each other.
around that Roche pit.
I think they just saw Boomy. I believe they're aware of this, but Roche is still half health. Xiaoyu looking to jump. He hasn't found the
missed.
target. Now they can turn back, kill off the heroes. They don't care about Roshan. The objectives are the lives. Let's not get rid of the Legion Commander. Now back to Roche they go. Max Exo. It's got about a quarter duration left. How do you start the fight now? They'll chuck in the boat. Natsumi, he's going to invest
Oh,
to
shit.
safety. Someone needs to pick up the Aegis. Natsumi will be able to do so. Turns to chunk down the Mirana. Now they'll also catch Hustler on the back line. So Polaris hitting back and stemming the momentum after a team fight like that in the mouth of the pit.
Your admiral is on
Shows how important Vision is, right? A couple of times there, just using the fog of war was Boomy able to dodge out the Legion Commander, getting the initial duel onto him, and it felt like that's what Neon were really playing around. They wanted to keep feeding through duel victory into the Legion Commander instead. Wasn't able to pick it up, doesn't have a BKB, so it was just a sitting duck once he got turned around upon.
This now gives you a bit of a difficult task here to go through Natsumi. I mean, already he's so survivable through Jewel just off the back of his lifesteal capability, which is amplified by Sanj. He's even going to the Iskadi, so more and more survivability. But
Great against the Gyrocopter.
yep, very, very good against any ranged carries, as you get double the bonus from the attack slow and movement speed slow. How do you feel like Neon can now offset that, team fight that didn't go to their favor? Do you feel like they are still able to take these engagements, or do they have to be cautious? Because now Polaris are actually smoked up.
I mean, you have to be cautious, and I feel like Polaris is playing this correctly. Once you've got that Aegis, you just need to continue
Radiant
playing
are
together.
scanning.
They're going to put Boomy onto the front lines. Of course, he is quite farm, still under the cover of smoke.
Oh, unknown.
Found unknown.
BKB still yet to be picked up. What a global silence before the pressy attack to keep him alive. Who knows how that could have turned it back around. Lay it
Radiant's
over
middle tower
and
is
stop
under
Xiaoyu
attack.
from getting the survivability off to keep the gyro alive.
Again, Polaris just need to keep playing together. They don't want anyone to be caught off on their own. That's the only way that I feel like Neon have much hope in the next, 3 or so minutes that the
Radiant's
Aegis has
top
left on
tower
its
is
timer.
under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Xiaoyu's hunting
Dire's
for a
bottom
straggler.
tower is
You reckon he's got the
Yeah,
damage?
I don't think he does.
Radiant's
Oh,
top tower
okay.
Maybe
so
I'm
moment
wrong.
ago- Oh, the lucky shot! Okay, Boomy. Oh my lord.
Radiant's
Anyone
top
else
tower
but
has
Boomy.
fallen.
For a second, I'm like, hang on, that moment of courage, Brock, that's a lot of damage. Boomy's like, nah, you're stressing, I'm alright. I got the proc coming through.
Dropping a smoke on the ground there is Boomy, wanting to get back to base, maybe have everyone look to smoke up together, and then he'll join them after shoving out the mid wave and healing up.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Seems like that's the plan.
You've got global up
Maybe
in
towards the bot
60.
side. I think they're just going to smoke up around the bot side. Natsumi's already there, so he doesn't need to minimize the farm that he's getting on the map right now. Pango's going to TP towards the bot side, and they're going to look to take the tier 2 tower with the use of the exorcism level 2.
How close is DP to 18? Okay, very far away from that. Still early on, considering the lifesteal is just hit 18 at the moment. But there you go.
Radiant's
Like you said,
bottom
smoke
tower
up,
is
looking to
under
connect to
attack.
Natsumi and Nico, who's getting themselves in a position for the siege. The tier 2 tower. They really want to try and offer some of the outpost control. Hustler himself also has the Dark Portrait, so we'll see how this comes into play.
Even just having the Solar Crest does a lot to protect, whoever gets dueled, right? Like, you can use it, of course, on your
Oh,
own
they're
hero.
actually charging off everything. Hustler's like, hang on, Exo Rolling Thunder just for me? Come on, guys, I'm just to support. Yeah, I'll chop the
Radiant's
voice
bottom
lines.
tower is under attack.
I don't think you mind that, though, right? Like I said, they just need to, around this Aegis timing, keep playing together, because you cannot fight into this right now on Neon's side. Like, you have a hard time killing Natsumi once, let alone twice.
Radiant's bottom tower
Step
has
lively
fallen.
now.
Coming
Your
up.
admiral is on board.
Gotta be careful about, like, just filtering in one at a time, though.
Oh,
Although
Max
the infest is
infested.
inside. Yeah, but he's out of exorcism.
It might. They might not be aware of this though. They could heavily commit on Mac and then be penalized for it. Xiaoyu, there we go. Jules straight away out. Nico, if he wants to charge up the Ravage to protect the target. Still, Max falling incredibly low. The bonus health from the Infest is not enough. It looks like Neon, though, off the back of the BKBs, will use this to the defensive factor to TP out.
Board.
Again, Polaris don't really care. You know, they didn't give up the dual damage. You use BKB charges, which are, of course, so important when you've got, you know, the likes of the Rolling Thunder, the Ravage that you want to be using on Polaris' side. So, in my eyes, that's still a win for Polaris.
Step lively now.
Exorcism was off, so I think totally cool with giving up that kind of trade there.
So, Makoto with all his damage. So, farm. Silver's Edge, BKB. At least you've got now a huge way to kill the lifestealer through Jewel, if that's a person you target. Makoto can get in range, get rid of the Feast, the Tide as well, of course, with his survivability. So a lot of passive to take care of this game, but we're starting to see that Neon. How do you catch the backline? You never get on. You're never going to get on CML, so Global Silence will always be a threat. And Boomy can sit so far away with this Blink build where it makes it so difficult for Neon to get rid of the key teamfight components.
And, you know, that's even amplifying things up further with Mac, who's just gone for the casual plate mail, totally cool with it. But the Blast Rig as well, what a great item to have as a Death Prophet, especially against this LC and this heavy physical damage-oriented Neon draft.
Yeah, we'll see if it comes into play here as Neon smoked up his fires. Makoto will show I have an exceptional ward along their higher ground, but the Ravage is on cooldown, so they might think twice about contending the fight, and they won't even have to think about that as Neon are going to try and transition themselves towards their own triangle.
Your admiral is on board.
See, though, we've had all games today have been very, very even. It's never been one-sided. You know, there's been to 20, 25 minutes in, it's been, you know, super, super close. Just a, you know, one pivotal moment determining who is able to take that game. And you know, we're yet to find that moment here for game one against Neon and Polaris.
Polaris, they're just looking to keep the accelerator going, though, right? You've got the gem available on Boomy. He's looking to get a lot of D wards off here to deny a lot of the map awareness that Neon might be looking to continue pushing forward for. I hope for their sake on Polaris that they make maximum usage out of these neutral items. Like, you've given now the Psychic Headband over to the Silencer, obviously can have a lot more impact in these team fights now with the extra range. Even just the 16% intelligence bonus that you get is going to buff up the use of the last word. But I want to see that Titan Sliver on someone like the Tide Hunter. He's already hard to kill. Why not make it even harder?
The moment Polaris like smoked up behind this bottom push, they've got a ward inside the base where they'll see Xiaoyu.
Yeah, they pinged it. So they're gonna look to maybe make a play towards the... Oh, they found out. It's just Zhao.
At least the
Minus
smoke...
2, baby. That's all it's worth.
There we go. Top lane. I don't know if they kill off Mac.
I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Not without the LC, they can't do it.
I believe Polaris are going to try and stall out till max level 18. It's a huge power spike with this Exism level 3, and then they might look... I mean, they did just smoke up prior. We've seen a lot of... I don't want to say... I mean, would you call that last smoke successful from Polaris? I think getting the Mirana was definitely not what you were hoping. So, you know, teams have been using these smokes not to full effect, or at least what they were hoping, I should say.
I'd call it a nil-all draw. Like, you got a kill out of it, you were able to push the bottom lane in, you saw that the Legion Commander was there, so they were trying to make an attempt, and it just happened to be the Mirana that was in the region.
So this could be a big factor here, coming through with our next Roche fight. At the moment, at least in the inventory, it's just Hustler with a smoke. But are there any key items getting picked up? You know, Gyrocop has been silently farming. He's still well and truly behind the Lifestealer, considering Unknown is on the Gyro can farm stacks at exceptional level, and the Ancients. Is there anything we have to keep our eyes out for Neon?
I mean, yeah, the Satanic is, of course, going to be a big factor against the Global Silence. Means that you don't need to pop that BKB super early on if you don't want to.
Step lively
But,
now. Your
I mean,
admiral is on
the key
board.
thing for me is this Kunkka, like, just having the Assault Cuirass. That's going to be a big thing to turn around this team fight, just to provide that little bit of extra layer of survivability to the team against the Exorcism.
Here we go. Smoke up from Neon. Polaris a bit disconnected. They're going to try and join Mac at the top wave. All the lanes are in a very good spot for Polaris at the moment. How do you get the side of the fight for Neon, though? Boomy, not really the target. It's instantly Nico gonna look to jump the back to Ravage onto multiple heroes. They'll lay down the Global Silence as well. Xiaoyu quick fingers BKB, but they'll just chase him inside the river. He's got the movement speed to be able to get out to safety, but once this expires in the odds, Natsumi can just turn his attention to Zhang Yuel, who still can play with a couple more leap charges, one more in the arsenal. And that's all she wrote. So a couple of big ultimates. Roshan is up. How long they got on extra? About a quarter duration left.
Natsumi hits pretty damn hard though, so I
Yeah.
feel like this could still do a decent amount of job with the use of the gush as well. That should be enough for them to be able to secure it. So another great initiation coming out there from Nico to be able to pick it up. Arrow lands onto the silencer, maybe not taking it quite as quickly as they need to, although Xiao Yu, he's just farming on this bottom side, looking to take a tier 1 tower in exchange. Might not even get that.
Has fallen to the dark.
Oh, wait. Are they going to give D... Okay, I've not seen the DP shard in play.
For the fear, yeah.
Lively now. Your admiral is on board.
I mean, who is she even going to be able to link up? It
Dire's
feels like they're all
bottom
pretty
has fallen.
mobile, right? Like, Gyrocopter, he's obviously got a high amount of base mobility. He went into the talent for the movement speed. Legion Commander, we saw how Xiao Yu was able to get away from that gank there. I'm not crazy about it, just because the BKBs are going to be available as well.
The argument's either that or open wounds, which is a pretty good goddamn ag shot.
I'd be happy with the open wounds.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like, maybe it increases the survivability through duel.
Radiant's
Like, you
top
just
tower has
more than
fallen.
likely pre-linking Xiaoyu. We're trying to burst through Mac. Instant TP's coming into play. Let's see if the blast streak's going to be enough as well. Natsumi needs the Infest Bomb, and the health is there. They'll still be able to bring him
Makoto,
down
though.
thanks to Makoto's cleave. The Conquer showing that his net worth, they can do something in regards to the damage. Still get the kill. It doesn't scale in regards to the Legion's damage, but nonetheless, a position 2, and you're kind of resetting the map now that Polaris all TP'd to bot.
Kunkka just chunking him down. Even just simple right clicks without the Tidebringer dealing, what is that, 410 physical damage every single right click, and then with the Tidebringer amps that up to about 650.
Oh, CML. Half his health completely gone. Thanks to one Tidebringer. He's got the team smoking up behind him as well. Jewel at the ready.
He stayed as far away from that creep wave as possible.
Yeah.
Doesn't want any kind of Shadow Blade into the creep wave to get another Tidebringer onto it.
Oh, hang on. Nico's got Refresher.
Yeah, he's been building it for a long time.
Okay. Has he got the mana? He's got Soul Ring, I guess.
Yeah. And the 1.25 mana regen from the Ring of Aquila, let's not doubt that.
He's got 18 mana regen at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, smoke up, Polaris. They've got the power through the fact of their team fight ultimates. Let's see if
And Mac now as well, he's got the Aeon Disc, not yet completed, so he's going to be able to pop it in a situation where he absolutely needs to. But again, Neon, they're able to dodge out another smoke. It's just Zhao playing again on the front lines. He's got money for buyback, and, you know, of course, with the Mirana, you're going to be able to escape a lot of these gank attempts through the use
they're
of
gonna kill him,
Force-Staff.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does give away the ward positioning. And while Boomy is okay, they're gonna lay down the global.
Alright. Don't know about that one from CML. You know, it's just a Pango at the end of the day, but obviously valuing the life of his mate.
Radiant's middle
Oh,
tower.
Xiaoyu.
Infested Lifestealer as well.
Yeah, they see Xiaoyu farming very aggressively on enemy's territory. It's gonna go for the BKB TP out, but the bash is there. Natsumi will finally find it.
Ooh.
Fucking
Speaking
nerves.
of some odd items, we got an Aghanim Scepter being queued up for this
Okay.
Lifestealer. It's not bad.
Oh, Ravage mid lane. What are yours? Hang on.
That was
that
Max.
Max?
Your second. Oh yes, it was.
Oh no.
Don't worry, he's got a second one.
Radiant's
Okay,
middle
it would have been
tower is
great
under
if he
attack.
picked up the arcane rune. Max like, okay, you know, I messed up, but you will see the arcane come into you better use on myself. Screw you, Nico.
I mean, he was X-marked at the time, so I feel like Mac with the Yule Scepter was trying to prevent any sort of drag
Radiant's
back from
middle
that.
tower is under attack. Yes.
Legion down for another
Landing it
20.
onto Lifestealer somehow. But yeah, they're going to be able to get this tier 2 without too much rebuttal coming through from Neon.
Dude, see him. Oh my god,
Radiant's
another
middle
arrow.
tower is under attack.
He's a magnet.
This
kill-
lifesteal,
Oh,
it actually might.
Oh, that extra movement speed is no joke, man.
Jesus. Wait, is he dead? He's dead.
Tip him, Hustler. There it is.
How is
Oh,
you
other way
the
around.
one tipping? You've got to. Come on, boys. That is prime opportunity for a tip.
So silly. And they smoke up as well. They know there's no global.
Okay. This is
Well,
not
there it
an
is.
easy
It's
kill. I don't know if you kill him actually through Jewel. Do they have the damage? Unknown finally joining them.
They know that the
they're
Aegis
gonna
is
connect.
gone now. That's the big thing.
Nico's behind. He's actually going to pop the smoke first. They'll get the vision again.
Again.
My god, Nico.
Your admiral
He's just, dude, this tide taunt. Oh my god, there's too many taunts that could just trigger someone.
Man, Nico's got those zoomer fingers, you know? He's only 19.
Is he only 19? I don't even...
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
Abyssal now completed for Natsumi too, so still he's been the king of this game. Top of the net worth, 5k ahead of Makoto.
He's 20. All right, I wasn't far off.
Not far off.
admiral is on
That's still a zoomer compared to me. Remember, I am
Younger than
35.
me. Is, yeah. My guy is a zoomer.
I'm not 35, guys.
Dude, chat was doing you dirty. It's alright, it's
Look,
fun
when
to
someone
see.
asks you, I try and make chat as interactive as possible. You know, they say, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "How old do you think I am?" And that's you said. You're just opening yourself
You're
up.
down. You're legit downhill from there. Like there is no way to come back.
Mm-hmm. For the record, I'm 29, chat. I'm still in my 20s, and I'm clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, that midlife crisis yet, or it comes at the 30s.
Are you saying I'm gonna die at 60? Midlife crisis.
early life. I'm sure there's multiple crises.
Like a quarter life crisis.
Quarter
I'm
life.
sure by the time that
Sorry,
we're
midlife
old,
was-
What you found laying around.
I mean, dude, while there's a little bit of a
lull,
restiveness,
yeah.
although Boomy
No, I
walks
like that.
underneath
Boomer.
a
I mean,
Taurus.
hang on. We always do that in Australia. Anything you got to put the O at the end.
We do an E at the end as well, though.
Yeah. O. You know, servo.
Bottler.
Anything. Bottler. Yeah. Dude, this.
Get him!
Wait. No way. No way. No way.
Oh. You might have to just TP. Like, it's not like you could psychic headbutting him away either. It's spell immune.
Some revenge. Natsumi's like,
He
okay.
was busy microing and, you know, forgets that he's got his real hero to deal with. I forget what I was saying before.
Some lull time. Then we started to go on top of. You said what? Who was it? Boomo? And then I don't.
No,
remember
it was
what
before that. Like,
Yeah, it was before that. I'm trying
Ruby
to-
had nothing to do with it.
I'm trying to see if that will refresh you, Januel.
Ha! Regeneration!
We'll scout it once again. We see this cross map infest. It's got another leap charge. Jayu's near the area. They don't really want to give up the Legion kill. They'd definitely be more than happy with Mirana dying as long as they can get the other lane shoved out. Mac will not have an answer. Oh, the fear might come into play. Oh, the axe shot duration not enough. He didn't want to prioritize his own BKB. With the Bissell on cooldown,
Bash?
Xiaoyu.
Bash?
Oh,
Oh, no.
First hit bash! Xiaoyu's just praying for that not to be the case, but of course it is.
That
Radiant's
is
middle tower
mouse
is
through
under
monitor
attack.
sort of territory right there.
I'm not sure. High ground siege. Max got an arcane as well. So 105-second cooldown on the EXO.
Structures are fortified.
Double
Also no
ravage.
BKB now on the LC. So
Yeah.
even if he buys back, you know, you Blink Duel, you can just get Ravage and turn around on.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
How do you take this fight? Dive
Radiant's middle
had the
has fallen.
expertise in regards to teamfight ultimates, where Neon haven't really been able to contend against it. Make an attempt with the Moonlight, and we just haven't really seen Unknown come into his own here in this game. Like, the Gyro's been farming. They're gonna lose Januel meanwhile, or maybe they're just baiting the fight further and further back, but a preemptive BKB forces the Gyrocopter to be careful. A Global Silence as well will give Nico ample time to reset his positioning.
Has fallen.
As just a buyback for nothing, basically. Again, like, no BKB means that Legion Commander did not feel comfortable going forward. He's going to have the ninja gear at least to be able to, try and get a straggler pick off, but Polaris, they're composed. They're going around and just playing well together. I feel like ever since they took that first Roche, there have been very few poor movements that have come out from them. They just realize the strength of their draft. They play around their cooldowns very well. A couple of times CML just got chased down by this inky illusion, but there's nothing too much you can do about that.
How many smokes today have we seen actually accomplish nothing?
Yeah, a few. Well, we'll see what they're able to do with this one. Again, Ravage was not used.
Okay. I know we were both in Tsunami stream when he was going through the Stroke of Fate cast range. He's got the telescope too. This is ridiculous. Look how far this... What? It's
well,
actually
they'll need
stupid.
it. I mean, they're getting their high ground pushed pretty quickly. It's going to be after the Roche as well. No Aghanims, and Natsumi unfortunately went away from buying his own Aghanim Scepter, so it's just going to be a filthy refresher shard that I'm sure DP will be happy enough to pick up. Probably.
Are you struggling to click on Roche with the change? I know they've fixed at least we can click on heroes without box
You can't
dragging.
click on wards either. You have to box drag the wards, which is a little annoying. But
Oh yeah, what the heck?
at least I'll take click on heroes.
Yeah, that was
the bare minimum.
frustrating. Alright, so what do we get? Max got shard, cheese. Dude, this is so easy now for the UI. Cheese on Tide, Ages on Lifestealer. The only issue is whenever the Ag shard. We don't see that, of course.
Pressure orb, shard still in the backpack of the DP.
Bye-bye for the illusion. It's been a bit of an issue for the supports, but I'll charge up the Exo. Well, Natsumi's sieging. They're going to look to try and jump and burst through, but the Aeon Disc Global Silence is enough to be able to keep him alive. It's not. Even the Infest from Natsumi, everything laid to try and protect the Death Prophet, who Mac has a buyback, instantly will rejoin the team with the Boots of Travel. Now Mac, second X is back up in the Arsenal, and Neon. I mean, they committed everything just to bring him down, and now how do we hold the top set of barracks here?
Even just the Dark Portrait, right? Like, it's getting...
Oh, Nico, what a ravage! On to 3. He'll charge up for the secondary one as well, but the Gyrocopter BKB's not enough! He doesn't have a buyback, nor do the rest of Neon. They've got to force him out now. Arrow does get the connection. You don't kill Natsumi. This guy is unkillable.
Even puts the CTM skin right in their face. I mean, this is... Let's remember, these are both teams have players from the ex-Neon, right? So, CTM, obviously, his skin on the ground, now a player from Boom. Natsumi had such a long run with Neon as well.
He's going to look to jump on top of the Death Prophet in the backline. He bought back previously, but again, this time, it'll be the Aeon Disc to protect Mac, and Zhao Yu will just get chased back to the ends of the earth. A dieback for him. And Januel gonna try and do it all in his lonesome self. Makoto stepping in to provide some assistance, but it's a 3 against 4. They still have the Ages in. They've had enough as Polaris will take game 1 here.
Very nicely done. Again, the backgrounds, they are revealing everything that you could possibly want out of my predictions coming through. And again, it just felt like it did come down to the draft though, right? Like, we were having a look at it. We weren't crazy happy about Polaris's draft, but it was very obvious that they want to play around all of these big heavy cooldowns. So they realized that, look, we need to have this period of farming. Sure, we might lose a lane here and there, but with the way that the draft turned out, they actually ended up winning 2 lanes. And then once they got that Aegis, they hit all their, basic core item timings. There were very few instances where someone was like more than 5 seconds away from being connected onto. And I feel like they just executed the strategy far better than Neon did.
It's really starting to show the change to the stacks as well. The fact that, I mean, Gyro had 0 kills. What was his damage? He was second lowest on his team. He just felt like he never had an angle into the game. He was farming for the entirety of it. The items was not enough, but I feel like we're really seeing now the stacks, how the change is affecting a lot of these mass farming heroes, the Gyro, the Luna, just to name a couple, the Clinks as well. Somehow the Lifestealer, he's a hero that doesn't farm fast. He didn't go Maelstrom as well, but Natsumi was reigning supreme through the entirety. He was active, he was getting kills, he was top of the net worth, and it didn't matter. And we're seeing the games go a little bit later and later, and that's where also the team fight prowess can come into play, where Polaris, you got Rolling Thunder, you got Ravage, you got Global, you've got Exism. It's just too much for Neon to deal with. We saw, yes, they got 18 kills compared to the 24 of Polaris, but it just felt like their capability to take 5-on-5s were not there.
And I feel like that's the mark of a good carry player, right? Like someone that, yes, of course, Natsumi's got the farming heroes in his back pocket. We've seen him play the Gyrocopter plenty of times. We talked about his Terrorblade during the draft, which was banned out. But for him to be able to go on to something like the Lifestealer, the Riki, the Monkey King, and be this more active style of core, that's something that I really do like, that Polaris have the flexibility to have that. And you know what it was? It didn't go down to, the way that they impacted the gameplay or anything. They didn't pick up that goddamn Bloodseeker. That was the issue. Because not only did it allow Boomy to have essentially a free game, maybe there was like one Soulbind that stopped the Rolling Thunder from happening. But on top of that, you're also allowing them to pick now a DP that just wants to keep running at you.
Yep.
Imagine if you had Rupture.
Yeah.
And a Lifestealer. Imagine if you had Rupture. Suddenly they can't pick these heroes. They need to play people that are a bit more passive. And that's going to allow you to probably find pickoffs with the likes of your Legion Commander. So, I don't know. Didn't work for me. Hopefully they can fix it for game 2.
At the end of the day, Neon, they have been showing that this team is starting to pick up some momentum. Of course, the last series of the group stages, it was Neon versus Polaris, and they took that 2-0. You also highlighted that Neon also 2-0'd Boom in, believe you said, the Moon Studio. So they are showing that this new roster can take games here, but backs against the wall. They're now 1 game away from being the 4th team eliminated from the BTS Pro Series Season 8. We'll see how they can recover and look to fight back here in our second game.